What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Cracker Crumbs update. Yay! This update doesn't really have to do much with comics, but more reviews on shows and stuff, and a couple new things I'm tinkering with. As you can see, still burned, but now I got my fingers back. Oh yeah! Nice. You can kind of see it on the camera, but maybe not. But right under my fingernails is where it turned black and ripped off and nasty stuff, but they're as good as new. Now I'm just waiting on the palm part of my hand and the back hand, and I'll be as good as new. Wanted to go over a funny story before I get into other stuff. Well, it's probably a crazy story, but I thought it was funny as hell. I was hanging out with my friend of mine, and we were driving around, and he wanted to get Burger King by my house. He's like, you want anything? I'm like, nah. He's like, I'm going to get Burger King. I'm like, all right, cool. And we pull up to the drive-through of Burger King, and right where the drive-through, thing where your order is, there was a car ordering, and then there was a car. It was a minivan, and then in the back of that was another car, and then there was us. And we're sitting in line for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. What the hell's going on? Because there was nobody in front of the guy. It was just minivan, car, us. And my friend's getting impatient. He's like, what the hell, man? This is nuts. The car in front of us, I guess, just flips out and just lays on the horn and just keeps it. So all you heard was this guy's loud ass horn. Then 2 seconds after that, he rolls down the window and leans his head out. The guy that was laying on the horn, he's like, "Come on, you stupid bastard! What are you doing? What the hell are you ordering?" Then just lays on the horn again, and out of nowhere, well, obviously you saw him coming. I'm not judging, because I'm a big guy myself, but this was insane. This guy moves up just a little bit, opens the side to his van or whatever, gets out. The guy must have weighed about maybe 600 to 700 pounds. He was just huge, and he gets out, walks to where the guy was honking, and just punches in the window. The guy still had his window kind of rolled down, just pulls on the window, pulls it down, and just starts laying his fist into this guy's car. And I'm like, oh my god. My friend and I were looking at each other, and he's laughing. I'm just like, oh my god. I was like, we're witnessing a murder right here. And he just kept laying into the window, just kept nailing this guy. And I was just seeing, like, through, because we saw, like, on the angle we're at, you see his fist going, and you see this guy's head going like this. And he was with, I guess, like his girlfriend or whatever, and she's screaming out the window, for somebody to help. The guy stops punching him, and the other guy just looks like he was he's just like going like this. You can see him almost like a Mortal Kombat, where you're about to finish a guy. The guy's like going around. The big guy goes back to his van, pulls out a bat, and starts bashing the top of this guy's car. I was like, oh my god. And quite honestly, my friend's like, dude, we're out of here. He just floors in reverse and flies out. He's like, I don't even want to know what happens. But we're driving back to my house. He was dropping me off, and he's like, oh my god, dude. He's like, what the hell? And I was like, maybe it's me. I was like, I just generate a lot of weird energy because things happen around me. I was like, they're like, I'm sure as hell, maybe I'm the problem, but I'm sure as hell not the solution. Anyway, just fun times. I had gotten a request from a subscriber saying that they loved the Wolverine artwork that I did, that I was offering in the Wolverine package. Do I have anything else? I have quite a bit of artwork that I've done over the years, but one thing I'll show you that I've shown, it's in my man cave, and I just took them down just to show them off. One thing I did was Batman back in 2010. Kind of see it. It's Batman, and then as a joke, not as a joke, I thought it was pretty cool, but I made it for my fiance, and it's Batman and Batgirl. So that's two things I've done over the years. Framed them, put them up, moving on. I want to thank everyone for the comments about my hand. It's getting better. Like I said, I healed pretty quick. Never really worry about it too much, and unless the doctors look at me and like, oh my god, you're gonna die, then I worry. But other than that, I gotta tell you though, but this morning, this hurt a lot, because I woke up and I was laying on it, and oh my god, the bandage I had on there, I had all the gauze pads, and because I was laying on it, got stuck like in there really bad, and I was getting worried because I was like, oh my god, and I was like peeling it off and just nasty because like all this stuff was like leaking out. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell did I do? And it just hurt. It hurt, and then my fiance had like this. I don't know what the hell it is. I guess it's like it's some kind of spray you're supposed to spray on burns and cuts, some like antibiotic or something like that. I don't know what the hell it was, but wow, peeled that stuff off, and she's going. Shh. I'm like, nah, and she's like, oh, it hurts, yeah. Oh man, so that was fun. But thank you to everyone who's been wishing me well. Um, I want to throw a couple things out there. Legendary collectible, I hope you get well soon as well. I know you've been a little under the weather as well in your own way. And Cone Bromstar, I can never get the name right. No matter how many times Hippie Collectible says me, I'm still going to screw it up. So, Scott, hope you get better fast, man. I really do. It sucks being sick. And Captain Strangeliffe, I know he's getting his knee done, so, I wish him a speedy recovery as well. If I could bottle my healing ability, I would, but chances are I'd probably kill everybody. Probably do more damage than good. But, anyway, and I wanted to also thank Legendary Collectible because he gave me a website to take a look at, which I did, so it was very helpful. I appreciate it. To get some comics I've been looking for that have been sold out, and it looks like they have them, so I'm going to see if I can order stuff from there. And I want to thank, I have some new subscribers, which I have to look you guys up again, because I was looking at them at 106 now, and I'm like, alright, I got new subscribers, and I'm looking, I'm like, alright, wait, who's who? So I'm going to look it over again, and I'll mention you guys on another video. But getting into the review part of this lovely thing, and I'm going to show you some new stuff I'm tinkering with on the show. I figured, what the hell, not spice it up a little bit, but maybe throw a little nostalgia there for people that are older than 10 years old. Will probably get these things. But before I go into my review on some of the shows I've seen, let's have a word from our sponsor.
July is not Thanksgiving, it's not even Christmas. It's better than all those. It's Crazy Any Day. You'll save money like never before during Crazy Eddie's Crazy Any Day sale with the guaranteed lowest prices on anything and everything in home entertainment. Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. It's Crazy Any Day. Save big bucks during Crazy Eddie's Crazy Any Day sale. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane. Thanks a lot.
Now that's insane. Just for fun, like I said, a couple things I'm tinkering with. But anyway, into my reviews. Wanted to go over Arrow and Walking Dead and Comic Book Men. So we're going to start with Arrow. I met a guy in a comic book store last week. His name was Rocco, very cool guy. In Bailey's, and we were just, was walking around, and he was collecting, the books he was getting ready to grab, and we looked at the new Captain America Bowen statue, which was friggin' awesome looking, and they had a Black Cat statue that I was drooling over. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Oh. But the guy Rocco is a cool guy, and I have to give him credit on his negotiating skills because the store was in Bailey's, which, like I said, I used to work there, and great store. They were looking for, I think it was, I don't know, if it's $350 or $400 for the Captain America. And he got them down to like 185, which is pretty insane because they had 4 of them, and he's like, yeah, I'll take it if you can give it to me for 185, and they're like, yeah, and he's been going there since they opened, and they cut him a deal, and I was looking at the Black Cat statue, and I'm like, oh man, and they wanted originally $275 for Black Cat, but the manager Trung was saying, he's like, I give it to you for $150, because, and I was like, I knew if I bought it, my fiance would literally rip my head off and use it as a bowling ball, so I had to kind of pass on it. But who knows, maybe down the line I'll pick it up or something like that. Got to get myself a Black Cat statue eventually. But anyway, we were talking about Arrow, and he was like, what do you think of it? I was like, well, did you see it? He's like, I saw like the first 20 minutes of the first episode, and he's like, it was interesting, but it's it's weird because it's not like the comics, it's not like this, not like that. And I usually say, like, I really want to see stuff that's like the comics, like the origins and stuff like that. But a lot of times, when you already know what's going to happen, it's kind of like you're like, oh yeah, this is when he gets this, and this is what happens with that. It doesn't give you much of a surprise. So I kind of let things slide when it comes to like movies or TV shows doing their version of it. If it's somewhat close, then it's cool. Then I'm alright. But when it's like totally different, you're like, oh god. If Green Arrow was really blue, then that's a problem. But we were talking about it, and I just watched the other episode because I don't have Channel 11 anymore, so I have to watch it online and wait for it to come around. And the second episode wasn't too bad. It was very interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. I'm kind of hoping that they keep it going like this. But it's still funny because they make Green Arrow in this show a lot like Batman. Like he's figuring stuff out. He's detective work kind of things. But he was killing people in the first episode. This episode, I guess they figured it's not the way to go, and everything he did with an arrow didn't kill anybody. Like he'd nail you in the leg, he'd nail you in the shoulder, would get underneath like your clothes, or you get stuck to the wall. So he didn't wipe anybody out. And then he was fighting like the triads and stuff like that, and they were showing stuff like how he got some of the. They were going to go into how he got scars from the island and stuff like that. But it was interesting. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how they're going to keep playing it out. So we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to The Walking Dead. Very, very cool episode. I enjoyed it. Reedus is the man. Just very, very awesome episode. Last episode where they chopped off. I'll throw that in there. When they chopped off Herschel's leg, and I'm like, yeah, he's getting turned into a zombie. And then this episode, they kind of fixed it a little bit. And when Rick went crazy on the inmates, very, very cool. And that's the end of that spoiler alert. But it's an awesome episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode. Moving on to Comic Book Men. Comic Book Men, I was laughing my ass off. First, it makes a lot of sense because they were showing a guy that came in with like 5 long boxes, and he kind of had them separated, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, something like that. And this is it's a good safety tip there, they were saying, and a good thing. Smoking and comics do not mix, because once you get the smoke on your comics, they're ruined. They're absolutely ruined, because a lot of people won't buy the comics when they have smoke attached. Like me, my family, my mother and my father used to smoke like chimneys, and I would always try to keep my comics, as far away from them as possible. Like I'd put them in my room, I'd put them in the closet, I'd put stuff over it, I'd hang an air freshener in there, all sorts of things just so that it wouldn't get on my comics. Now, when you live with a smoker or you smoke yourself, you don't notice it. You never notice the smoke in your clothes. You never notice anything. You're just like, what are you talking about? And then, if you stay away from it for a long time and you come back, then you notice it. You're like, oh my God, I reek. And it sucked because I actually had about 4 boxes that I kind of got rid of because they were just baked in smoke, and I didn't even know it until when I moved out of the house. When my mother and I moved to my grandmother's house, which she stopped smoking. She was like, I don't smoke anymore because I'm done. You could smell it, like how bad the boxes were covered in smoke, and I was like, oh man. And my uncle had the bright idea of put them in the garage. It'll air it out. You'll be fine. Put them in the garage, which was really, really stupid. And 2 days later, I went out there, and one box was completely destroyed by squirrels or whatever got in there and destroyed one box, which was a lot of the ones from the 90s. And if you look at one of my videos, I showed a lot of the comics I had with no covers. That was one of the reasons. Then I had a yard sale, and a lot of people were turning them down. They're like, this reeks of smoke. And I gave them away. Like, it was all 90s comics. It wasn't really anything, really worth a lot of money, so I wasn't really too upset. But I kind of wanted them gone because they really did reek, and they were going to mess with the rest of my collection. So I sold them for like nothing. Like I sold like one long box I had of Spider-Man from the 90s, so like 91 to about 91 to 93, and then a couple from 98 to 2000, and they just reeked. And I was like, and the guy's like, I'd give you like $10 for it. He's like, I don't even want to pay more than that because they're covered. And I'm like, you got a deal. So we got I think 70 something comics for $10. And the other ones, a couple were Iron Man and a couple of Avengers and stuff like that. And so I'm kind of rebuilding my collection from that. So never smoke around your comics. It's not worth it, especially if you have really old ones that are worth money. It's just nobody wants them. They're gonna be like, oh God. I actually got one I got kind of screwed on eBay a couple months ago, and I sent it back to the guy, and thank God I finally got my refund about 2 weeks ago. the guy was selling. It was the first appearance of Thanos in, I think it was an Iron Man in '55, which is funny because it was on Comic Book Man. That's what made me think of the story too. And the guy was selling it for it was bidding, and I think I got it up to like $75, and I was like, that ain't bad. And he didn't say anything. You know, they showed the pictures of it, but when it came in the mail, I didn't even do an unboxing. I didn't even show anybody because I just sent it right back. It just reeked, really, really reeked of smoke, and I'm like, oh my god, it's not worth it. And I contacted the guy, and I was like, you didn't, say anything about, it being covered in smoke. And he's like, well, you didn't ask. And I'm like, man, I was like, I'm returning it. And the guy got all pissed off, and I'm like, it's not my problem. You should have mentioned it. But that was a big to do. But anyway, on Comic Book Man, they had the guy had the 5 long boxes, and basically they looked through it, and they just reeked of smoke because the guy had them in a smoke shop. And they pulled out a few of them that were, they had like the Thanos, the first print of Thanos, a couple Daredevils, and the guy just wanted way too much money for them, which is understandable because he said the same thing everyone says. Like everyone thinks when they go into a store, they have gold. Like they have the most valuable issues, and it's not always true. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I mean, I was watching one video where they said that, I think I mentioned it before. The guy had X-Men #1 from the '90s, the Jim Lee one, and thought it was X-Men #1 from the '60s. And he went into the comic book store and, wanted like 15 grand for it. And the guy's laughing at him. He's like, we have hundreds of these. Oh, but it's worth 15,000. He's like, no, it's not. He goes, it's worth like $1. He's like, if that. He's like, you'd be lucky if you get $1. He's like, they're so common, they're not worth anything. And the guy was just pissed and kind of threw the comic at him to keep it. But yeah. But then they had an auction, which something that I haven't gone to in a long, long time because where I live in New York, they don't really. When I was a kid, I went to one. I thought it was a convention, but it was technically a convention / auction. It was the first one I ever went to, and that's where I got the Wolverine Limited Series #1 for I think it was like $15. And I was begging my father. He's like, he's like, if it goes higher than 20, he's like, you're not getting it because it was an auction kind of thing. And I got it up to 15, and nobody bid after that. And I was like, whew. So that's where I got that one from. But my father was always crazy like with comics. Like he'd give me crap on certain things, but he wouldn't mess around with when things came to like clothing. If I needed clothing, he was always there. School stuff, he was always there to get stuff. Anything to do with martial arts, he would be the first person there. Watch my he showed up to my tournaments, and anything with comics, he kind of was iffy. At first, he's like, this is stupid, it's a waste. But then when he realized how much money they're worth, he was kind of like, all right, what do you want to get? Let's discuss this. Let's go over what you're gonna do here. And I would tell him like, oh, this is what I'm looking for, and this is how much it is. Try to get it for. I was never really good at negotiation, and he would go through. He would hear about conventions from people he'd work with, and like, oh, they're having a toy thing here or whatever, and we would go there, and like I said, that was the first one I went to. Was when I got it was an auction comic convention kind of thing, not like today, but it was the first and last one I ever went to, because they just don't really exist anymore around here anyway that I know of. But 123 Comic Bro, he went to one, and he knows what I'm talking about. But in Comic Book Men, they went to one because they're having a competition between who could get the most value for what they're, they had a $500 limit. There was 2 teams who can get the most value for their stuff, and one group they got X-Men #94, awesome book, giant size X-Men #1, and then whoever lost had to reenact the wedding of Reed Richards and Susan Storm. And I couldn't stop laughing when that guy Ming came down with the blue lipstick and they're reading off their vows. Oh my god. It's pretty funny. So I have to give Comic Book Men some credit. The first season I didn't like all that much, but the second season's been pretty good so far. I think that was it. Yeah, I was bitching and moaning a little bit, trying to get stuff from my chest about Midtown Comics, because I'm like, alright, where the hell's my package? It's been forever. It seems like it's forever. It really hasn't been. Of course, they sent me an email this morning saying that they got the shipment back because apparently it went to the wrong, address, which is amazing because, I think they should have my stuff on file by now, where to send it. And lucky enough, the person that I went to didn't, keep it or anything, because then it really would have been fun. So they claim they have to remail it out, and they're not going to do that until Monday. So who knows when that's going to pop around. So I have to wait on that. But fun times, fun times. I think that was it. Yeah, that was about all the stuff I wanted to discuss. And, oh, one other thing. I've been trying to catch up on everyone's videos slowly, but I'm still going through them, so, I don't really think that I'm kind of not watching their stuff. I'm kind of going through my subscription list and, picking one person and going through their videos that I've missed, and then I'm going to the next person and so on. So if I haven't commented on your stuff lately, I'm getting to it. I'm trying to get them all in. So, that was that, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I want to thank all my new subscribers on top of my old subscribers as well. You all know who you are. If you like what you see, please hit the little like button. Leave as many comments as you want. I love getting comments. Love answering questions. And if you really like what you see, subscribe. Subscribe. I'm somewhat of a good guy, I guess. And Broke Collector 79, thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it. It's very, very cool. And I will see everyone on the next update. Later.